You can either try to make the most money or you can try to make the most consistent money. All right, my friends. So we just got done talking about how strong of a breakdown this is and how we should continue lower, and then we're going to retest. So don't buy your shorts here, right? Don't get into short here yet. Wait for a retest. You'll have a much better price, especially on puts, and then it should roll down. So I've gotten a lot of questions of, should I be buying calls then if we expect a retest bounce to make money on this? And the answer to that is depends. You have two things that I've noticed. You can either try to make the most money or you can try to make the most consistent money. You need to start with making the most consistent money, because if you try to make the most money without that much experience, you'll just lose it all. This is where most people go wrong. You need to make consistent money. So yes, we've had a massive move down. What are the markets going to do? They're going to bounce back up, and this all depends on if we actually close down there. But we're going to go down, we're going to bounce back up, and we're going to retest this resistance. And this is where the bear should be at to push us lower. So instead of trying to make the most money, make the most consistent money, because we are extremely bearish. So should you be buying calls because we expect this area to get hit? Well, the hard part is we could be gapping down tomorrow, which is what I kind of think is going to happen. And then we fade back up. We could continue all the way down to here. So you could be buying calls and be like, okay, we're going to get a retest. And this thing just drops for the next 4 days. And then chops around for another couple days and then finally bounces back up. And by the time you do that, your calls are worthless and you just lost money. It demands that you be perfect on your timing and that you control your risk extremely well, which most people don't have the skills to do. So don't fall into the trap of trying to make the most money by catching every single move that's out there, right? Making money on the upside, making money to the downside, making money on the upside, making money to the downside, right? Just plan your entry on what's the highest probability trades. What's the highest probability trades? It's not buying calls here, because we could continue to sink for a long time. We should retest this. And honestly, we probably retest it tomorrow. But instead of that, don't play the game of wasting all your money on this and just wait for the bounce to come and be ready to buy puts here. Play that game. That's a much higher probability trade because we are bearish, extremely weak, broke a level that we should not be breaking. Play that. Buy your puts there. Manage your risk a lot easier on that because we're bearish. It's easier to take a bear trade with the trend than it is to try to fade the trend, because the trend is strong and we might be going way lower before the bounce comes. I don't know. Right? So just play with the trend. Make the most consistent money. And you make the most consistent money by staying with the trend, taking the most obvious trades and the highest probability setups than trying to make every single penny that every move the market makes you. If you can get that and change the way you think in that, you'll start making a lot of money in the markets. And then after 10 or 15 or 20 years of you having experience in the markets and making a lot of money, now you can start going, okay, I understand how to control my risk. I understand how to lose small. I understand the perfect entries of where I should be trying to fade this thing back up. And honestly, it's going to be the gap fill, in my opinion, like 268, 270. Somewhere down in here, probably more like 268. I have to actually line it up. 268.77. Somewhere into here is where I'd be tempted to buy some calls because I understand how to manage risk. And if we don't start to bounce here, then you've got to be okay taking a lot of small losses, because trying to fade, trying to be perfect and make money on all ends, really what it looks like is loss, 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 big win, loss, 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 big win, loss, 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 loss. It looks like that. People don't realize that. They just think, oh, I got in here and I made money up to there, and then I got in towards there and it went down to there. It's I think we're going to bounce here. I get in, we don't really bounce, and it keeps going a little lower. I lose. Okay, I'm going to try it here. Doesn't really bounce. Okay, I get out. Tried it here, boom, I hit my big winner. Most people can't do that. They can't do that. It's too hard. You have to be extremely experienced. You have to understand how to lose small. You have to understand how to read charts. You have to understand where the bouncing spots are to be able to fade things. It's a very advanced technique. So save that crap when you've made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in the markets and you've been doing this for at least 10 years. Now you can start trying to make the most money. What you need to do right now is make the most consistent money, which means waiting, which means being bored. Do what the 95% of the people won't do. Be bored. If you can just be bored, my friends, all right, turn this thing on. If you can just be bored, you will make money. What do I teach my students? I teach them start planning your entries and wait, because this is probably going to take maybe a day. It could take a week and a half for it to get back to this area, which means for a week and a half, what do? Nothing. Well, that sucks. That's no fun. Do you want to make money or do you want to have fun? Separate yourself from the 95%, because the 95% want to go out there and just wheel and deal and put on 400 trades a day and just look like they're on YouTube and just, I'm so cool and I make $20,000 in a day. No, bullcrap. The people that are making $20,000 a day, I guarantee you they've planned it. They didn't just wake up and go, oh, here's a setup. No, they woke up and go, this is the gap. This is the analysis. This is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for this to break for freaking a month and a half. So when it broke, I just made 2 or 3 R's on that trade. Boom. I was planning that. They've been planning these areas, and there's times where they just don't trade. Okay. And there's different styles, there's different setups, but every successful trader plans their stuff. And this is what I want you to start changing your mindset to, is stop trying to make the most money and start trying to be consistent. This is where you're buying your puts. Could happen there tomorrow. It might happen there in 3 weeks. I don't know. Just know you have a much higher probability of making money shorting this up here than you do trying to buy calls and fade this thing back up. Or be impatient and buy calls, buy puts now because you're missing it, because we know how the markets work. They go down and they come up and they go down again, right? So make that shift and you're going to start making consistent money. And if you can start making consistent money, now you're growing your account. Now you're learning, now you're growing, now you're staying in the game long enough to actually learn how to do this. Most people can't stay in the game long enough to actually learn how to do this. It takes time. So keep yourself in the game, make consistent money. Don't try to make the most money. Be willing to just let this leave. I'm okay not making money on the way up here because I'm going to make a lot more money on the way down. Plus, I have an easy way to control my risk because bears should be all over this area if we close down. All right. So that's my little tidbit. That's my little advice. Hopefully that helps. Change the way you think and you'll start to make money in these markets. Quit being like the 95% of everyone that trades. Stop. Be different. Do what they aren't willing to do, and I promise you, you'll make money. Okay. So